Good evening, citizens. My name is Ban Shattersong, former captain of the Bloody Hands Mercenary Company, and currently trapped in this labyrinth, unable to find my way forwards, backwards, or even anywhere at all. So it's in moments like these that I take a seat, I sit, and I talk out loud to the walls around me. And thus, these are some perhaps personal thoughts. Some might call them ramblings, others a tale, and others still entirely bullshit. So, hello. I've deprived you all of episodes the last couple of weeks, um, and I personally feel bad. With Bad dying, of course, it won't really change the purpose of the podcast, which is to explore the wiki, to interview players, um, kind of create some hype around the Empire LARP system, or at least try and create some hype, or at the very least, you could say, distill some of my own hype and give it all to you in a nice little iridescent gloaming styled bottle. However, I've got to be honest, my keenness died a little bit after losing Ban. It's kind of sunk in over the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. And yeah, it's hard to run a podcast around someone who isn't alive anymore and is never going to have an impact ever again. Now, don't worry, this isn't a goodbye forever kind of episode. I'm going to keep the podcast going, but it is, I guess, an opportunity for me to check in with all of you. And when I say all of you, maybe I should have killed Ban earlier because looking at the graph in front of me, suddenly things have got very, very, very popular. That's really cool, especially in Australia and India. I don't know why. So hello, listeners from across the globe in perhaps sunnier climes than the UK. But I do promise you all that more episodes are coming. These include interviews, part two for Walk the Longest Path that still hasn't been done, and a few more rundowns from E2. Um, but honestly, when I'm feeling in a better mood, those episodes are, in theory, better, a bit more lively. And yeah, just haven't had you could say the spoons to do it. So yeah, I'm sorry. Hopefully, this will give you a little bit of an insight into why things have been so quiet, and give me another week or two, and I'm sure I'll be able to pump out something pretty fun. However, though, it would be pretty shitty of me to put out an episode and not give you some kind of insight into what's going on at the moment. So, here we go. The dilemma, the personal dilemma I face at the moment as Chris, hello, this guy, is that I've got two broad choices ahead of me. One is that I continue with my, let's say, throwaway character I created after Ban's death. His name is Lindir. He's a incredibly naive yet ambitious Thorn who has left home in Miaran, come to Anvil, who's met the heroes that he's heard so many tales about on the Trods. People like Tadpole Streamwalker, Jockle Streamwalker, or even Tiki Streamwalker. Rest his soul. And I'm sure there's a few others in there, some actually famous members of Navarre. But anyway, my point being is that it's quite fun just to turn up and be a good character, and B, totally green to the entire space. It was quite fun at E2. And of course, I want to hang around for essentially seeing some of the, let's call it, runoff, some lasting impact, if you will, from Ban's death. And there was plenty of that, and I kind of want to see that firsthand. On the other hand, though, I have long waited slash wanted to actually play a character outside Navarre. Varushka looks really appealing. I love the kind of like Schlachter look, sort of the scale mail and the tall plumed helmets, and using axes because they're a lot of fun. I don't think I'd put on an accent because it wouldn't be good, but it would be a lot of fun to play there. I've also always enjoyed the idea of playing Dawn with one of my friends called Phil. He's dabbled in Empire a little bit, but Navarre wasn't his thing. And the idea was that we would go as essentially questing knights. I think is that the right term? Questing? Is it pre-test of metal? I should know that. Anyway, the idea is me and Phil are going to go to Empire as a pair of questing knights, if you will. And the idea is whoever kills 100 orcs first becomes the noble of a house, and the other one becomes, still a knight within that house, having passed their test of metal. But the point is the other one gets to boss the other around. It we've had a lot of drunken chats about it. It's a very cool idea in our humble opinions, and it's a very tempting option. A very tempting option indeed, because killing 100 orcs is excessively difficult, and we're unlikely to survive. So it'll be interesting to see how our families, our conveniently identical brothers, turn up and continue the quest. And yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun. Um, there are a few other things that appeal as well. One of which, full disclosure, is a continuation to not ban Shattersong, but certainly some of the themes that he explored in terms of the criminal underworld and playing that more antagonistic character within Empire. On one hand, it would be nice to finally, be able to talk to people without being cruel and nasty and having a ulterior motive. But at the same time, again, as I mentioned in an episode a little while back, it's incredibly nice to see how ban affected a lot of people's game, and that gave me a lot of warm, happy feels. And doing that again would be a fundamentally good thing. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Well, that's where I'm at the moment. And I would love, if you're able to, take some opinions. Hit me up on Facebook if you want to actually talk to Chris, the LARPer in Navarre. Vote for continuing the throwaway character, Lindir Streamwalker. If you're another random citizen who would like to play the tombola of where will Chris end up next, well, cast your vote in that way. I might have mentioned Dawn and Varushka, but frankly, any nation would be a lot of fun and a good change of pace, especially now that I own a Brass Coast costume. Ha 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 ha. And then finally, if you're keen to have your favourite antagonist back, you can of course vote for the one who is going to be a continuation of that antagonistic and criminal-ish storyline. But yeah, again, apologies, haven't got a proper episode for you all. Thank you for staying with me. And next time I'll try and get either, let's be realistic, Walk Longest Path Part 2, or get some more character interviews coming along, because I know how much you lot love them. But until then, citizens, stay safe, stay vigilant, and most of all, don't pay more than 5 rings for a pint.